Dog Show Mentor. So you know what we're doing here today? We're going to have a Facebook Live. We're going to have fun. Put your name in the chat, your breed, where you're from. I love to hear from you. I love to know that you're here every week and you're engaging in the conversation on how to help other owner handlers win more in the ring. I'm here to help you in that task. Today, we're going to talk about grit, what it is, why you need it, and why is it a core value at Dog Show Mentor when it's really a personality trait instead of a value, but we call it a core value. So we're going to talk about that. So you don't quit if you've got grit, right? That's our topic today. You don't quit if you've got grit. And why don't you quit, right? Hey, Betty Ann, nice to see you. Why don't you quit when you have grit? Well, because you're persevering. Hey, Doreen, nice to see you. You know, Betty Ann, yes, Virginia Border Terriers. Love that. Angela, hi, nice to see you. I know, Dobermans, right? Cindy, nice to see you. Spanish Water Dogs, Pennsylvania. I feel like you're all rock stars. You know, I see some of your posts and I think, wow, you guys are really, really rocking it out. You are amazing in what you're accomplishing. And as we talk about grit, I want you to give yourself a shout out and really recognize and acknowledge how much grit you have already and become more aware of it. Rageshwar from California, Black Russians, and Kristen, cattle dogs from Rhode Island. Yes, Angela says, yep, you are knocking it. Hey, Jim, nice to see you. Jim Bouvier's and grit in Oregon. That's right. Pete Roma del Val or Valley? Val. I think it's Val. Pete, nice to see you. It looks like you've got maybe German Shorter Pointers. Looking at the little picture there. Okay, so grit, how does that help you accomplish your goals? You know, we acknowledge in Dog Show Mentor that grit is a personality trait possessed by individuals who demonstrate passion and perseverance toward a goal, right? And that passion and perseverance is in spite of significant obstacles. That's a thing, in spite of significant obstacles. So we feel at Dog Show Mentor that when we have grit, we don't quit. But it goes farther than that. It speaks to the passion and the perseverance that we have and how we direct it, right? How that, when we think of grit, we think of determination, right? But it's not just determination. It's always paired with a goal, a direction, right? Mary Gail says, hey, Brussels Griffon, California. Hey, Mary Gail. And we've got Jane Graham from Pennsylvania, Chihuahuas. Angel says, gotta stick to it. The reward is so sweet. No kidding, right? Judy, Giant Schnauzers in Canada. Welcome, Judy. And Emre, Border Collies from Turkey. How exciting. What fun to have such worldwide people here today. And please tell us how you in your area find grit to be helpful in winning in the ring. Anita Chow's from Nevada. Michael, welcome, Michael. He's saying to Jane, you're just Leah's mom. I don't know any of them. Good afternoon, all. Mastiffs from Pennsylvania. That would be Carolyn. And Kristen says, grit is what keeps you coming back after losing. That's exactly right. After witnessing dog show drama and steering clear. Well said. Grit is what helps you stick to your own program. It's right. It helps you stay on your path. And your path is whatever it is. Everybody's path is different. Some people want to exhibit a dog. They like the competition. Some people like going to dog shows because they like other dog people. Jim says resilience. Absolutely. Kathy, welcome with Dobermans, Wisconsin. So Michael says Leah is a junior superstar. Okay. Well, welcome, Leah. Emre says, replying to himself, Michael, hey, Michael, thanks. Good. All right, you guys. Talking to each other. So you've always responding to what Kristen said, grit is what keeps you coming back after losing, after witnessing dog show drama and steering clear. It's what helps you stick to your own program. And I think that's absolutely correct. It's having an understanding of where you're going and where you want to be. You know, what's the gap? Here I am today. Here's where I'm going. That's where I want to be. And it's the grit and determination, the perseverance, the passion, How many of you have passion for this sport, right? You cannot do dogs and not be passionate about it. If you're just doing it for the money, you know what? First of all, owner handlers don't make money. But if you're a handler and you're only doing it for money, it's wrong because those dogs will suffer. We cannot do the sport right without passion. Passion and direction. Okay. Who else has a comment? All right. So what do you think about grit? What is the grittiest moment that you've had at a dog show? Who wants to go first? What was the grittiest moment that you had at a dog show? Okay. Doreen says it's hard when you're the only family member who is passionate about it. It's hard to explain to others why it means so much. That's a really good point, Doreen. And I think that sometimes it's best not to try to explain it, to just be with it, be passionate about it, and let your people love your dogs in their own way, right? In their own way. And that's what we do here in my house. My husband's not a dog show person at all, but he loves the dogs passionately. And I let them have their moments. You know, he sits in the chair and the dog jumps up and they have their little conversations, right? It's peering into those moments. And Michael says you have friends there to support you. Absolutely. Absolutely. And they understand. That's why we, as dog show people, hang together and why we like to be together every weekend that we can. Because we know that the people we're hanging with feel the same way we do, have that passion. And they're gritty too. Cindy says, my dog being dismissed from the ring multiple times and turning it around. Wow, good for you, Cindy. Yeah. I'm impressed. I'm impressed that you were able to turn it around by determination and grit. And also, I'm guessing, quite a bit of knowledge and hard work. So good for you. All right. So, part of the reason that we hang at dog shows is that, other people, how can I say this, may not want to hang with us because all we want to do is talk about dogs, right? So there we are. And who else is going to hang with people who smell like liver and, dog, right? Crystal, welcome, Crystal from Canada. Grit for me was showing to a judge. I was 110% sure I was going to get walked out of the ring. Turns out she gave my girl best in show. Bravo. Every day's a new day. And I always say, you never know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to be there. You know who might be there, but you don't know who's going to be there. You don't know what their dog is going to be behaving like. You don't know what kind of mood they're going to be in. But you can control what you do, how you show up. And I think that's pretty exciting. That's pretty cool, Crystal. Who else? Mary says, Greta, standing your ground when your competition tells you don't bother with the dog you have now and then placing ahead of them. Ooh la la. Girl, that is gritty. That is gritty. That's right. Standing your ground. And sometimes we have to. Sometimes our competition isn't as always honest with us, with the process, isn't always a stellar competitor. And sometimes my competitors in the ring are not stellar competitors. And I have to ask them nicely to please back up, step up, back off, etc. Right? I want everybody to have an equal chance, and I'm going to make sure they do. I'm going to make sure I have a chance to see every dog in my ring. And speaking of dogs and rings, on the 28th of September, we have a Blue Ribbon Blueprint Open webinar workshop. So we'll be putting the link in the chat shortly, and we hope that you'll come. People can be petty, jealous, and outright insulting. Rise above it. Well, yes, that's exactly right. That would be another Dog Show Mentor core value. Rageshwar says it's also persistence to keep learning and training with your dog. Always keeping it positive and grounded by goals is part of grit. Always keeping it positive and grounded by goals. That's right. Goals, where you are, where you're going, how you're getting there. What is your plan? And what's the end point? What's your end game? Okay. Grit is supporting those in your breed, even though they do not support you, because it's the right thing to do. So what I'm hearing is that some of you, most of you, all of you believe that grit is also linked to a value, a core value of doing what you feel is the right thing. Now, keep in mind, what you think is the right thing and what somebody else thinks is the right thing could be different because we'd have different values, right? And Jan says that's sportsmanship, right? So we can link we can link grit with sportsmanship. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. We can link it with sportsmanship. And I think that I think more of it as, more of it is being confronted by significant obstacles, and then staying that path. And so that path has a value in it, right? And have many values. We have excellence, community, respect, transparency, grit, and confidentiality. Because when your friend tells you something and says, please don't tell anyone else, or it's private and you're having a private conversation, keep it private, because then you can be trusted. And when people trust you, you're a valuable member of the community. A valuable member of the community when you can be trusted. Okay. Denise says, rising above negative experiences and being the better person. Okay. That's also important. Grit is congratulating those that win and always thanking the judge. It can also be part of what your path is and your grit. And it's also sportsmanship. Kristen says there is enough opposition to the spirit of purebred dogs from outside. We should not be fighting amongst ourselves. Competition is fine, but ruthlessness is not. Oh yeah. Yeah, Kristen. Uh really, really good thinking. Competition is fine. Ruthlessness is not. Okay. So being gritty is fine, but being ruthless is not, because grit is part of the competitive spirit. I mean, if you don't have grit, you can't have a competitive spirit. And without a competitive spirit, how can you show dogs successfully? So Jan says, I'm in Guthrie, Oklahoma this weekend if anyone needs me. Oh, okay. So what about your ability to stay in a situation that's tough, that requires your grit? What about that? What kind of situation? I still haven't heard what was your toughest moment for where you had to apply your grittiest self. So who wants to talk about that? I know that's a little revealing, but we're still it's important to share these moments with other people so that they know that they're moments where they have to really engage that grit is real. The struggle is real and it's normal. It's part of competition, right? How do you handle grit? So what was your grittiest moment? And Lisa says she'll be at Guthrie too. Well, I'm not going to be. I'm going to be in Roaring Forks, Colorado shows in Greeley. So, hey, Debbie, losing more than winning. To keep coming back requires grit. You said it, girl. You said it. Nice to see you. All right. So, can you really stay the course? Or do you veer off and say, oh, I don't think I'm winning today. I'm not going to the show, or I don't think I can win this. And it's that's a professional handler, and I don't know if I could beat them. Right? How many people say that? How many people say that? No, that's not right. Oh, I am going head to head with a dog that has a really good handler. Right? We've talked about that. How we frame. It's not professional handler or owner handler. It's a quality handled dog. So, I'm going up against that quality handled dog. And when you do that, and you know that, and you act on it, right? You create a plan and you act on it. Now you're in the running. Now you can win because you've got control of your dog, your emotions, and you know what needs to be done. You've practiced. Part of grit is the ability to make yourself practice incrementally every day, just a little bit. Okay, let's see what people are saying here. Denmark says, very personal situation. Some people are talking bad things about my dog, knowing I'm 4 chairs behind them and I can hear them and saw them looking at my dog, ended up still winning. I walk away with a smile on my face. So, in spite of Denmark, congratulations and bravo to you. In spite of having that feeling, right? A feeling people are talking trash about you, and I've got a webinar about that, just in case. And having the grit to stand up and say, "Well, watch this." Pretty cool. Linda says, finding out my breeder does think working with a first-time owner handler is worth her time. I wanted to stop, but have decided to keep trying. Linda, I'm not sure I understand that. Finding out my breeder does think working with the first time is worth her time. I wanted to stop, but have decided to keep trying. That is grit, and good for you. And I'm glad that your breeder does think working with a first-time owner handler is worth her time. Doreen says, my handler told me not to expect much in my first show, and that's okay. Okay, keep going. That's gritty. And Kristen says, my number 2 dog in the country that I have spent 4 years and lots of time training and money was DQ'd based on false accusations. I've had to regroup and continue to show my other younger specials who are now ranked. Grit is the only thing that has gotten me through this gracefully. Well, congratulations on getting through this gracefully. I'm sorry to hear that your dog was DQ'd based on false accusations, or DQ'd at all. Julie Elliott, you are late, but you're here, so that's good. Michael says, I have many owner handler friends who beat the pros often. Of course. Should be, doesn't. Okay. I watched Leah Graham, a 10-year-old, beat pros. Absolutely. It's not about professional and owner handler. It's who's the one to beat. When you walk into a show, you should instantly know who's going to be in your ring and who's the one to beat. And that's a competitive handler. Owner handler, professional handler, it doesn't matter. Cindy says, oh yeah, last weekend was the first time a pro recognized me and talked to me inside and outside the ring. I plan to ask him for feedback this weekend. Okay. Diane, going through some of it right now, almost private messaged you this morning. Yep, things can be tough, and it does take grit, and we've got it. We're dog show people. And honestly, I don't care whether you're a pro or an owner handler. I'm going to tell you right here now, you got to have grit, and we're all in this together. Okay, Kaylee says, grit is living life like it's a marathon, not a sprint. Angela Duckworth. And Regeshwar says, yes, the growth mindset. And Angela says, I took a 5-point major in Dobermans in Northern California where we beat 12 pros. 12 quality handled dogs. Good for you, Angela. That's excellent. I always look at the catalog if I can prior to going in the ring so I know my competition. Absolutely. Jamie, hi, welcome. Grit is sticking to the journey no matter the obstacles. And that's exactly what we're talking about, Jamie, is how to keep going forward in spite of significant obstacles. Margarita says, I've had experiences when my competitors will approach me before ring time to tell me something negative about my dog, what I'm wearing. It's taken me years to realize what was going on. Ain't that the truth? Yep. Some people are not very nice. And Diane says, I want to walk away from the person before I invest any more time in them. Yes, that's exactly right. Just walk away and forget it. Just let it slide off you like Teflon, girl. Just let it slide off you. You'll be fine. You'll come out of it better than ever. So we're just about out of time. Uh, you know, I want to tell you that potential is great. You know, you got a dog that has potential. You've got potential. Maybe you've got natural talent. I've seen people have natural talent showing dogs. Hey, Kevin, how are you? The main thing is to have faith in your dog and faith in yourself. You do this as a passion to the sport and your breed. Exactly right. That's exactly right. Don't forget to post the link. Thank you, Doreen. We if the link isn't posted before we close here, it'll be I'll make sure that you get it. All right. Do the work. Michael says, do the work. Absolutely. Because just because you have grit doesn't mean that you can keep going and doing the same thing over and over. You have to change what you're doing. Right. So I'm going to invite you. Come to Dog Show Mentor. Come be a member. There are lots of different levels for you and different programs. Come to Dog Show Mentor. Be with us. We'd love to have you. And there is a workshop on the 28th, and I'm hoping to see you there. We're going to put some links in the chat to give you some options. The premium option is in there now. You're welcome, Cindy. It's such a pleasure to see you so often. Going to rock this last weekend of NOHS. I know it's the last weekend of NOHS. And I want to tell you a little story real quick. There's the Preem and Jumpstart and Mastery application are all in the chat now. So one of my members contacted me this morning and said that she was a few points ahead of her competition in NOHS. And I gave her some gritty advice. So know that you can do it. If you're a few points ahead of your competition, you can stay there. And you've got a whole group of people that are standing behind you that want you to succeed. And we've got that group too at Dog Show Mentor. Carolyn says, when I had 4 professional handlers compliment my dog at a big show and tell me my dog should have obviously taken breed, there was a well-known handler that knew the judge that took it. It was thrilling to me. They came as I didn't really know them, but tough to handle the loss. Yes, but guess what? Next week, you get to go back and do it again and win, right? There's always another dog show. There you go. And Michael's giving me a pitch. Thank you, Michael. And Sandy says, driving at the vet now. This is an important topic. Sandy, listen to the replay. It'll be up in just a few minutes. This is Lee Whittier, the Dog Show Mentor, signing off. Bye, everybody. All right.